Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to learn about information sources. So the big question is, what are information sources? So an information source is anything that might inform a person about something or provide knowledge to somebody. Information sources can be observations, people, speeches, documents, or even pictures. So they are different types. We have different types of sources of information, and the very first one is primary sources of information. So primary sources of information contain first-hand information, meaning you are reading the author's own account on specific topic or event that he or she participated in. You need to know that primary sources such as research articles often do not explain terminology and theoretical principles in detail. Therefore, the readers of primary scholarly research should have fundamental knowledge of the subject area. So, let's look at the examples of the primary sources of information. We have original documents such as the diaries, the speeches, the manuscripts, the letters, the interviews, the records, the eyewitness accounts. We have the autobiographies. Then we also have the empirical scholarly works. For example, the research articles, the clinical reports, the case studies, the dissertations. And then we also have the creative works such as poetry, music, video, and photography. So let's look at the second type of information sources. We have the secondary information sources. So secondary information sources describe, summarize, or discuss information or details originally presented in another source, meaning the author in most cases did not participate in the event. This type of source is written for a broad audience and will include definitions of specific terms, history relating to a specific topic, and even summaries of major studies as related to the topic. Then, the examples of the secondary sources are the medical textbooks. That's foundational resources that explain diseases, anatomy, and treatments by synthesizing years of primary research. Then you have the medical encyclopedias. These are entries that define and explain health conditions for both professionals and the public. Then you have the market analysis reports, summaries of industry data originally collected through surveys or sales records. Then you have the art reviews. These are articles that critique a specific painting, musical performance, or sculpture. So let's look at the other type of information source, which is published information sources. So these are materials produced by publishers for public use, often having undergone editing and verification. And the examples of these sources are journals and periodicals. Scholarly peer-reviewed journals are academic, trade journals, which are industry-specific, and popular magazines. Then you also have government publications. These can be reports, acts on Hansard, those are parliamentary debates. And then you also have the electronic resources such as the ebooks, the databases, the websites, and audiovisual media. Then you also have the popular sources. These are materials written by journalists or staff writers for the general public. They are designed to inform, entertain, and provide quick overview of a topic. And the examples of these popular sources are the Time magazine or National Geographic. We can look at the Wall Street Journal or the Guardian, maybe news websites like BBC or CNN. Then also documentaries and podcasts. Then let's look at the popular source format types. So we have the newspapers, which can be daily or weekly reports on current events, often printed on newsprint or published on news websites, for example, the New York Times or the New Vision. We also have magazines, weekly or monthly publications with glossy pages and many photos covering general interest topics, for example, Time, National Geographic. Then you also have websites and blogs, digital only or born digital content that can include news, opinion pieces, or personal stories. Then you have social media, instant unvetted posts from individuals, for example, X, Twitter, and Instagram. We also have multimedia, which could be audio or visual formats like podcasts, documentaries, YouTube videos, and radio programs. So let's look at the other one. It's scholarly resources. So these are highly specialized materials written by experts. Could be professors, there could be researchers, there could be scientists. For an audience of other experts or students, the primary goal is to share original research or deep analysis. So the examples of scholarly sources are The Lancet, which is a medical journal. We have the American Historical Review. We have the University Press books, for example, Oxford University Press. Then you have the peer-reviewed articles found in databases such as JSTOR or PubMed. Then scholarly format types are academic journals. So periodicals containing peer-reviewed research articles often appearing bi-monthly or quarterly. And you have the books and ebooks, the comprehensive long-term treatments of a subject published by the university or academic presses. Then you have theses and dissertations, extended research work submitted by graduate students as part of their degree requirements. Then let's finally look at the grey literature. So grey literature consists of research, reports, and documents produced by organizations outside of traditional commercial or academic publishing, making it high quality, yet often unpublished or non-peer reviewed. So the common examples include the government reports, the conference proceedings, the working papers, theses, white papers, patents, and technical documentation. So if we look at examples of the literature, we have the government reports, we have the conference proceedings, we have the working papers, we have the white papers, we have technical documentation. So the grey literature format types are government reports. This can be statistics, laws, and policy analysis released by local or national agencies, for example, the census data. Then it can also be white papers, documents from organizations that provide in-depth information or a proposal on a specific issue. So that is all about information sources. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you've learned something in this video. See you in the next video. Bye.